Vick Springston from Monsters Misfits.
What's up, gang?
What's going on, Vic? Good to have you on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
For the people out there that don't know you or don't know Monster Misfits, why don't you give us a rundown of what you got going on?
Well, so I'm really new to the game. I've only been doing it maybe 3 years or so. So I have a lot to learn, and most everything I learn is from fellow hunters out there. I'll say, hey man, how do I do this, or what kind of product do I need to make certain things, and it's a lot of learning. So I'm just your average Yahoo guy, just trying to figure out how to make stuff and make it better. And I think that's the thing of it is once you start doing little stuff, you want to graduate to bigger and better stuff, and that's what I've been trying to do. So it's rough. So I got a lot of mistakes that I've had to throw away and start over again. But that's all what it's all about, and just trying to make a decent product to share with people out there that's interested in it. So, and if they need to know how to do something, they can always hit me up and say, hey, what kind of material did you use to make this? And I'll show you. I'll tell you. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Or you can look at my YouTube channel. I'll show you how I make everything on there as well.
What is your YouTube channel?
It's Monster Misfits.
So, speaking of small things, you said you're starting off small, start doing small things. Where were some of the first projects you worked on?
Corpse skeletons. That was, everybody does a plastic corpse skeleton with, the heat gun and all that stuff. So that was some of the small stuff I played around with. And once you do that, then, I mean, there's so much talent out there with just plastic that you can do. And, you, I mean, like Christopher, one of my buddies, man, he makes some awesome corpses with plastic, and you just keep playing with it and using different colors, different materials, and you just never stop. Even if you use one product of making something like the plastic ordeal, but you could add so much to it to make it so much better, and that's kind of where I've done, and I'll just keep on until you know uh, graduate from the plastic to actually making corpse skin and stuff like that. It's a challenge, but and it's a lot of money sometimes because you're constantly practicing to try to make a better product and get it to look a certain way. And but that's what it's all about. It just keep on going until you find something you're happy with and comfortable with. But don't stop there. Continue to keep doing it to make you something, of your own, or just a better product. Or there's so much stuff you can use out there. It's amazing that the talent stuff. I mean, I've heard somebody say, hey man, just use some house insulation and latex. I was like, what? But it works. It's house insulation would be kind of like using cotton balls or something like that in there. Stuff you can get some wild looking designs and stuff. But just keep going until you make something that you're happy with.
Hauntine wants you to graduate to making real corpses. They said that's
I I don't have a real corpse, but I have a real skeleton in my garage.
So when you say that you start off small and you move on to bigger things and stuff, what has your progression been from those first couple years ago when you first started out making the skeletons to where you're at now?
Okay, so a good example is like, the all-time favorite homemade blood is basically clear school glue and food coloring. That's great, but it's only temporary, and it'll peel off, it'll fade out. It's not a permanent solution. So if you want to just do something for yourself that it's quick, that's a great way to go. But over that period of time, I've always wanted to do better and better of how do I make a nice permanent blood, and that's what I've been working on. And thankfully, for the last 2 years, I have finally developed my own permanent blood. And
What's the name of that?
this is monster blood. I don't know if you can see it too good or not, but
There it is.
I sold a ton of this at Fear Expo, and we are getting ready to revamp this to make it a little thicker. So, and everything's a process. I mean, I have a 5 gallon bucket that's 3/4 full. It's worth about $3,000 mistakes. So, just you just don't give up. You just keep on going until you get the desired look and feel of everything that your goal is. So that's
So
one example. Is I know this is small, but it's a huge thing for me because it's a 2 years in the making.
how did you like Fear Expo?
I loved it. I sold out. I brought. I took a trailer full. I took a 16-foot trailer from bottom to the top, and I brought back 4 totes. Is all I had on my trailer, and I had one of them was just tools. So,
So you coming back next year then? Is that what you're
oh
saying?
yeah, yeah. I'm already set up to go to the one in Florida in February. Then I'll actually have whenever Doug gets all that stuff set up for next year on that one, I'll be putting my stuff in for that as well. And April, I think you guys got it set up for.
Yeah, yeah, in April. So what kind of things you plan on bringing to Fear Expo next year?
I have a 2 foot by 6 foot panel slab of it's kind of a skeleton, skulls, and creepy stuff that I'm getting ready to mold up. It's just silicone is like $250 for a gallon, and I need like 3 gallons of that stuff to mold it. Then it'll be poured up with rigid foam. So I have 2 foot by 6 foot panels that you can be able to put around your haunt or whatever like that. And it's hard to tell what I'm going to come up with. Between now and then, that's a year away. Have some 6 foot skeleton creatures, swamp creatures I'll be bringing. So, we'll have a whole bunch of different stuff, I'm sure.
So you say you got started about 3 years ago. What got you going? What got you started?
Um, well, I used to be an old truck driver back years ago. I haven't drove truck in about 12 years. And I've always had a creative mind. My whole family's been creative. So back then, I built a coffin for a friend of mine that wanted it for his haunt. Then I had to go back on the road, of course, and make a living. Then it kind of started there, and I'm just like, man, I want to just keep doing that. And then a few years ago, I met Keith at Cobwebs and Candlesticks and Dave at the Weird Kid Show. And during the whole pandemic thing, we just started building stuff, and just pastime. We was doing live shows to talk to people, show them what we've learned, show them what we've messed up, and stuff like that. And it just kind of blew up from there. I was like, man, I think this is what I want to do, and I just want to continue to learn.
Where do you want to go? Like what do you want to learn? What would you want to be making?
Um, well, I'm 51 years old, so I think my time on this earth is limited. So I got to be careful what I want to make. I mean, I don't want to get too elaborate, then be like, oh well, I got to kick the bucket now. I'm not sure where I want to go. I'm kind of torn by. It's great going to the shows and selling your stuff and letting people see what you create and they enjoy your stuff. But man, I tell you, the camaraderie, the just seeing your old friends and stuff that you see every maybe twice a year. So I'm kind of torn between both of those, which I like the best. I don't get me wrong, I like to create stuff, but there's no feeling like going and visiting all your friends and stuff like that you meet at these shows. It's freaking amazing.
Now you're down in Alabama, correct?
Yes, sir. Birmingham, Alabama.
What's your haunted attraction scene like down there? Tell us
Uh,
about some of the
it's
shows you got.
it's freaking crazy. I mean, there's like 5 just right around me right now. I mean, they're within 30-minute drive, and I've never been to none of them. This is kind of weird for a haunter or whatever you want to call me. I don't watch scary movies. I don't go to haunted houses. I don't do none of that stuff. I just kind of watch a lot of documentaries of corpses and mummies and stuff like that, and just kind of go from there. Or me, Keith at Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and Dave, we all just kind of back and forth all the time with each other. So I don't know what anybody's hunt is like here. I don't know if it's great, if it's bad. Here that most of them are pretty freaking good here in this area. But I just don't go to none of them.
Somebody was asking if you're going to be doing a haunt this year.
No, not this year. So we did one a couple years ago, and it turned out pretty great. For not really advertising it, it just cost a lot of money. We had 3 floods come through it because it was outside. A car ran through one of my facades. A tree fell on half of it. One of my guys caught on fire. So it's like, I might want to stop while I'm ahead on that. So,
It doesn't sound like an awful night, though. It sounded like that'd been pretty entertaining.
dude, that was the guy catching on fire was the first night. It was horrible. I just watched him roll down to my feet, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? We're sitting there stomping him, trying to put him
All
out.
right. Well, now that you brought it up, we have to hear the story.
Okay, so everybody's like, "Hey, man, since you got outside, the fire marshals and stuff will want to see you use a generator. They don't want to see a bunch of electrical hooks up and stuff like that." I was like, "Okay, cool. We'll use a generator." So we had this guy dressed in a one of them suits that your arms are tied up in and all that stuff. He was a great actor and everything, man. And his name was John. And the generator ran out of gas, so he's over there trying to fill it back up with it still hot, and that thing just went poof. So before you know it, it burnt my generator to the ground. That thing was toast. We had to go buy a new generator the next day, and it was a mess. And he just took off running and rolling down towards me and stuff. But thank God the jacket he had on pretty much saved him because it was nice heavy cotton, and so he didn't end up being burned or anything. It was just pure luck, pure luck.
That was insane. That was the first night.
That was the very first night. Very first night. We had a girl come up probably an hour or so away to come and help us, and she was so traumatized by it. She goes, "I can't do it. I'm out of here." I was like, "Well, y'all like scared houses? We trying to bring you the real thing." But
All right.
that was the only major thing that we had. The rest of it went pretty good for not advertising it and all that stuff. So it went pretty good.
All right. Back to Monster Misfits. Where do you draw inspiration from? Like, how do these things come to life for you?
From everybody. I mean, everybody, the pictures they post, stuff. I mean, well, we got probably 6 or 7 groups ourselves, and these people that should be out here selling product, and they're just posting it and making it themselves for their home hunt or whatever. They're freaking talented, so freaking talented. I was like, man, you guys need to make this stuff and go to a show and sell it. It's just, so I grabbed a lot of inspiration from most of the people on Facebook and YouTubes and stuff like that. Just so much talent out there. It's crazy.
So you're just, I guess, looking at what everybody else is doing and trying to one up them. This is the name of the game.
Well, the thing is, you always want to do better. So if I do reach out to a lot of some really high end people like Rob Kaboski. He makes movies and he does a lot of freaking amazing stuff. And I'll reach out to him and ask him, "Hey man, what kind of material you use and stuff like that," and just different people. And when you do that, most of them be like, "Hey man, this is what I'll do." Like Evil Jays, I've reached out to Evil Jays. I don't know how many times. "Hey man, what kind of foam do I use? I like the way you did this. What's the best way to execute that look that you're going for?" And most of them will tell you how to do it, but you got to open your mouth. If you keep your mouth closed, you're not going to learn nothing. So reach out to, some of your peers that you're looking up to and say, "Hey, man, if you don't mind, how are you achieving that look, or what kind of material are you using?" 99% of the people will tell you how to do it. There's a few out there, they're going to keep their secrets, and that's fine. That's no problem. It's just like, my blood mixture, that's a secret. but not really. If you reach out to me, I'm probably going to tell you. But it's just the way I am because it's hard for me to keep anything back when something that is so good that I've worked on for a couple of years that somebody can make it. Especially this is so. If I tell these guys right now, hey man, you can make your own blood, probably 50, 60% of them be like, hey, I just want to go ahead and buy your blood. They don't want to invest in all the materials to make it. So that's going to be the thing is I really don't mind sharing, the materials and stuff and how I make it or what I messed up on. Don't do this or this is the way you need to do it because this blood is a specific way that you have to make it. If you don't make it a specific way, you'll mess up the whole batch. So
It looks like you have a standing invitation to head on out to Warehouse 31.
yes,
So
probably from my rotten team, right?
yeah, there's been a
Yeah,
couple of comments of people saying to come on out. So you should check it out. It's a cool place.
yeah. Warehouse 31 is pretty cool, and there's a couple of them around here that's really cool, but I've never been to any of them. I need to, I guess, spread my wings and go hang out with some of them.
Now, did you get a chance to check out any of the education that Leonard Pickel so graciously set up for everyone at Fear Expo? Or were you just too
And
busy?
I sure didn't. I was so busy, and I've been having those back issues. So time I was done, I hung out with some of my friends, and I haven't seen in a while, like Keith and David Quinn and stuff like that. Hung out with them, talked to a lot of different people, and went and crashed or got something to eat because it was so busy. You didn't really have much time to do anything. I mean, it was you guys had so much stuff going on. It's like I don't know what I need to do.
Yeah, we're trying to keep everybody happy there.
Yes, definitely. You guys did great, man. I mean, you guys' staff is freaking phenomenal. I probably, if I went and got me a couple of your guys, I wouldn't have to touch anything in my booth. I'd be like, okay, just put this here, put that there, and put that there. I'll just be standing there directing because these guys just did it. They all, well, we had 5 or 7 guys come over and move a 32-foot booth, what, 1 foot forward because I screwed up and put it in the wrong spot.
Well, we always like to think that the quicker that we can get you guys in there and set up and get everything ready to go, the quicker you're going to be out of our hair and we can just move on to the next thing. It's almost a selfish thing on our part. Like, hurry up, get it done right so we can kick them out and get the next group in here and just be done with it. So,
That was freaking amazing, man. I mean, you guys impressed me the first year I went. I didn't set up or anything. I just went with David Quinn and with Monsters Alive and helped them out a little bit. And then I talked to Doug a little bit, and he says, "Hey, man, since you come here this first year, he goes, I'll give you the first year rate on setting up." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." So we did that, and so I sold everything, the booth, everything. So we appreciate that for sure.
yeah, Monsters Alive, man, they had one hell of a booth this year. I mean, David put a lot of work into that one.
Man, he did that within like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, he does
He,
everything like last minute, but
yeah,
somehow he just does it amazing.
yeah. He's like, "Hey, Vic, look what I'm doing." I'm like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh my god, dude, that's just we got like 4 days. We got to pack and go, right?"
That
He goes,
sounds
"Yep,
about right.
yeah."
So, what are other than seeing your friends and everything? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to mostly next year? Maybe like going to Warehouse 31.
Yes, I need to go to Warehouse 31 for sure. I probably need to do that this year so I can. I'm sure I got a few friends that'll hold my hand through the haunts and stuff. That I'll just probably just pee my pants or something when I go through them. But yeah, I need to do that. I need to spread my wings a little bit, just kind of get some inspiration, some ideas from other talents that's close to me. And that's my problem is I don't really don't hang with anybody. I'm just kind of a loner here in Alabama, so it's mostly just people online. But I need to spread my wings and get out there and learn a little bit. So I think it would be great, and just have a good show. I mean, I don't know what you guys do everything. I don't know what anymore that you guys do there.
Oh, well,
So
I mean, you can always go to the parties, or if you're not too wore out from everything else you got to do during the day.
yeah, I went to a couple of them. I went to the one Quinn had and was up on the third, fourth floor that night or something there. But
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a late one.
yeah, I don't drink, but I did a couple shots at night. So it's fun. It's fun hanging out.
What about getting into animatronics? You ever think about doing anything like that?
Yes, that'll be coming up for too long. So going to be. I've got a few things on that working out. I've got a couple different ideas I want to do, and so hopefully that'll be something I'll be working on this summer to have at Fear Expo next year.
That'd be really cool because I think we did have some animatronics there, but I think Fear Expo could use a little bit more on the animatronic side myself. They're just it's cool. Animatronics is really cool, and when you get a guy that's as talented as yourself and that is driven as you are, that wants to learn that kind of stuff. I really think that you could produce some really crazy, incredible things. I think it'd be really, really cool. So
Yeah,
do
there's
animatronics.
yeah, I got a few in the making or plan to make. So we're going to see how that turns out. I might have something catch on fire, so I'll make sure I bring a fire extinguisher or something.
Well, where can everybody find Monsters Misfits?
Right now, you can find me. Just look up Vick Springston on Facebook or one of my groups. I'm in Cobwebs and Candlesticks, Monster Misfits, Fear Injection. I mean, we got so many groups. I'm really easy to find, but I don't have my website up yet. It's been a long ordeal in the making, and I'm kind of at everybody's mercy trying to get that straightened up. But as soon as that's up, I will make sure I make an announcement on that. But if there's something you see um, that you like that I make or whatever, I'll try to post it in Monster Misfits or Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and just reach out to me and I'll hook you up.
Well, let us know when your website gets rolling, and we'll put a blast out there, and we'll let everybody know.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
So, Vic, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming to the show. I'm glad you had a good time. Get out to Warehouse 31. They keep begging you in the comments to come out.
Yes, I'm
keep
coming
seeing
this
it.
year.
Yeah,
I'm coming this
keep
year.
seeing it. Um, Again, thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you for coming on the show, and I can't wait to see you next year, man.
All right, brother. You too, man. Appreciate everybody.